Okay, let me go back to the home page. So I'll see what they said about. I said Pratt is basically where is it? They call it Pratt doing phonetics by computer. Basically, it's for phonetic analysis. So you can do these are what it could do: speech analysis, speech synthesis, experiment labeling and segmentation, speech manipulation, a lot of things. All right. What are the various things you can do with it? So I just want to confirm we are recording. Okay. All right. So Pratt object, Pratt picture. Right? Now, to work with Pratt, you can do two things. You can import your audio file, okay? Or you could record your audio file. Or how do I say you could work with audio? You could either import or you record. Now, if you're going to import your audio file, that means you've recorded your audio file somewhere and you're just bringing it into Pratt to work on. But now, as much as that is good, there are limitations to that because there are some certain files format that Pratt cannot work with. Okay, and the standard file format for working with Pratt and ELAN is WAV file, wave format, WAV file. Okay, ELAN will not even take MP3 from you. If Pratt opens MP3, it will have issues with it. And the reason why WAV or the another format FLAC, the reason why WAV is recommended, especially for linguistic work, especially if you are doing phonetic phonology work, if you are using Pratt strictly WAV, is because WAV is called an uncompressed file format, right? And what do they mean by uncompressed? It means that the sound quality is the same, like it is what you said that is there. The acoustic properties, nothing is removed compared to something like mp3 where the encoder, or let me say the software, removes some signals and compresses it to such that the human ear can hear alone and you're fine. So it removes some things, but for the WAV file it's everything exact same thing. That's why WAV files are quite heavier compared to mp3 files. I know those of you have, maybe you work with a media organization or something. You see that if you copy WAV files, it is way bigger. You see gigabytes. But if you are using MP3, 64 MB, 65 MB, all those things, a file of 1 minute in WAV can be about 1 minute WAV file can be about, well, let's say 500 gig, 500 MB, just 1 minute. Whereas in MP3, that might just be 2 or 3 MB. You get. So that's why it's very important. Now, let's start with opening. So let's assume that, let me see if we have a WAV file here that we can use. Okay, yes, there is one here. Where is it? Um, I'm just gonna find it and I'll use it. Okay, is in downloads. So I'm gonna come to open. Okay, read from file, downloads. There's Agbo Tewa file. This is it. All right. Now you see that I have this option of open long sound file. Now there's some files that are very big. Maybe you have a 2 hours audio file, 3 hours audio file that you want to work with. It's better to open it as a long sound file. All right. But the issue is that when you open a file as a long sound file, Pratt treats it as a bigger, it considers it a big, sorry, let me pick this call. Okay, Jetro. Baba, how far? Yeah, Nigeria. Oh, if I nailed it. Oh, if I nailed it. But it's November. Surely November. Yeah. Yeah, sure, sure. Have you checked online? Uh, okay, I'll probably the one I got it somewhere. So maybe if I check and I can get it, I would let you know. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Just drop me a reminder. Drop me a reminder around like 7 because I'm presently working somewhere. I'm busy at the moment. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, sorry. All right. So it treats the long sound file as a very heavy file that you want to extract from. Okay. You can annotate long sound files. You can annotate regular files too. Now, this third option, read separate channels from sound files. Now, I don't know if you know what is called an audio channel. Okay. So imagine I don't know if you can see my microphone. All right. You can see my microphone, right? Now, my microphone has, well, this is actually a unidirectional mic in the sense that you can only record from one side, and this is this side. That's why it is pointed to me. All right. Now, if I'm recording, there are two modes a microphone can record in: stereo or mono. If it's mono, it's recording only one channel. So even if the mic can record from two sides, it will convert both of them into one channel. Okay. For those who do church media, you should have seen something like this, right? Now, if you are recording into stereo, now I don't know how many of you have seen maybe Dr. Nweya's recorder. There's this Zoom recorder or in the lab or Dr. Lewis. Now, there are mics like that that have two inputs, left and right. Okay. Now, those are two channels. If you are recording stereo, it will record the right mic, so to speak, on one channel and the left on another channel. One audio file, but on two different channels. If you are recording stereo, it will merge the two of them as one. I never get my point, right? So let's say, for example, I recorded a stereo file and I want to just extract one channel out of it to do my analysis. This is why I come to read separate channels of from sound file. So it picks the stereo file, okay, and splits it into two: channel A, channel B, or channel 1, channel 2. All right? I don't know if you get that. Yeah. So now let's see, how do we record in Pratt? We come to, so okay, don't worry, I won't do it. I might be tempted to use shortcuts because I'm a shortcut person. Yeah, but I will do my best to not do it as much as possible. We come to new, okay? New, record mono sound because actually you don't need a stereo sound for annotation. Okay. I mean, for Pratt analysis, basically, you don't need a stereo file. I mean, if you're working on ELAN, sometimes you might need a stereo file, maybe because your right channel is speaking something and your left channel is speaking something different. So it helps you, right? Depending on what you are doing, basically, if you're going to be very sincere, it's project and context specific. I don't even get what I'm saying. All right. So it's not an add and fast through. But if you are doing, so this will link to your acoustics phonetics class or yeah, field work and all those things. So if you are doing phonetic analysis, maybe you want to get data for your field trip, right? You don't need recording stereo, especially for whatever bigger purposes. But so far it's phonetic analysis you are doing. Just record in mono so that you won't have troubles with two different channels. All right, so I record mono sound. Now I've set my mic to this already, so it's not taking signal from this laptop. It's taking, I mean, from the laptop mic. It's taking signal from this particular microphone. Okay, so I'm just going to record. So if you want to record, you press. I need to turn off this. I'm using a condensed mic, so it picks a lot of noise sometimes. All right. So now these are what we call sampling frequency. Okay. I think that's how much frequency is the base level. So generally people record in 4,100 hertz. That's the default Pratt even uses. You could do 48,000. Those are the two general ones. So if you see maybe an audio file, you check the description, you could see 44K or 48K hertz. That's basically they are telling you sampling frequency. Yeah. So if you see an audio file and they put 8K hertz, that's 8,000. The sampling frequency is 8,000. Okay. If you see an audio file and they put 44.1K hertz, that's 44,100 hertz. All right. That's sampling frequency they're telling you about basically. All right. So we're recording the mono. So I just come and press record. So I would someone should give me maybe a sentence for us to record and annotate. Bola Jeba. Why Bola? Why Eba? Why Je? Do we all agree with that? All right. All right. So I'm going to record Bola Jeba. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to record. If I was doing the maybe a field works class or a documentation class, I would say some more things. But because our job is just to record and get annotations done right now, I'll skip some other things. All right. So that will just quickly move. All right. So I'll record. So please let's maintain silence. Bola J Eba. Bola J Eba. Those green bars are the recording levels, okay, the volume of my recording. All right. Now I can play this. Bola J Eba.
Why
Bola
am I
J
not?
Eba.
Why am I not hearing this out there?
What's wrong? Oh, okay. Yeah. Bola
Bola
J
J
Eba.
Eba.
Bola
Bola
J
J.
Eba. All right. Now, if so, I will save this now and I'll show you something else. Now, I can save to list. So this is the name of the file. I'll just put let's just put Bola. You can start. I mean, if you have an audio file that is WAV file on your laptop, you can just import it. Okay, pending the time we would get through this stage. Okay, are we good? All right. So I can press save to list. Now, when I press save to list, this is what happens. That file is added to this list in Praat object. And one thing you should know is that anything in Praat object does not save automatically. In fact, Praat doesn't do auto save. You have to save your edits as you work. Okay. Now I could do save to list and close. If I do save to list and close, you will save to list and close this recording window. Okay. So let me do something right now. Now I want you to observe something in the recording volume. Now my mouth is very close to the mic and I'm going to speak louder. Now see something. Bola J Eba. Bola J Eba. What did you observe? Mhm. So the first one, the sound was indicating loudness. And one thing in audio is if your the green is basically that your sound is in a good level. Yellow is like you are crossing to the dangerous zone. Red is too loud. So it's those any sound that is affecting your ear is definitely in the red region. All right. Now let me play that and hear what happens. Bola
Bola
J
J
Eba.
Eba.
Bola
Bola
J.
J
Now the
Eba.
second one is reduced, but the first one was louder. All right. So if I press save to list and close, this is what happens. Okay. But I'm deleting that, so I don't need it. Now the first one. So having recorded my files. Hmm? Hey, wait. Sorry, let me pick this call. PD, what's up? Some um when should that be? Okay, tomorrow would not work because of church unless I'm free in the morning. If I'm free in the morning, I'll let you know. But most likely time is 30. It's Thursday, unless you want us to do a night meeting. Yeah. Wait, do you want to come over to Ibadan? I don't think I want you to come to Ibadan. But Wednesday, Thursday is fine. Wednesday, Thursday. So if tomorrow will not work, I'll let you know. So just do Thursday. But from what I okay, I'll have students tomorrow at the office. Then I might have students tomorrow, Thursday, but I can navigate Thursday. Thursday is fine, all right. Yeah, thank you. You're welcome. Bye. All right, sorry. Yeah. So now, how do I edit or look at my sound file? Okay, that's where this option. These are the tools you could work with. Okay, in Pratt, but we won't be touching all of them because they don't concern us for this class. So we'll do view and edit. When I press view and edit, this is what you see. Okay, what do we call this blue thing? Yeah. What does it say? Uh, yeah, that's just because there's no font on your system that can handle phonetic characters. It's not that Pratt is more functioning. It's just the font issue. All right. Yeah. So now, what do we call this blue thing or green, whatever it is? What? Waveforms, basically. They're called waveforms. Okay. Frequency, it's a feature of the sound. All right. Not, yeah. Who knows what this red stuff are called? Okay, those are formats. Let me just help you acoustic class that you're going to come to do. All right. So now you see that this is not showing us further details. Okay. If I zoom in, this is zoom to all. This is zoom in. Okay. This is zoom out. Okay. Zoom in. You see this in button here. Are you seeing it? Okay. Below, look at the left corner. Under, you see some buttons there. All right. In, zoom in. Shortcut is Control I. Okay. Are you with me? Shortcut for zooming out is Control O, Control I, Control. Shortcut for zooming to all your file is Control A. Okay. Then you see this option to zoom to selection. Okay. So cancel. All right. Zoom to selection. Shortcut is Control N. All right. N. Control N. Now there are some things we are not seeing here. There's some details we need to see. Maybe we are doing. There's the spectrogram. If you want to show it, show spectrogram. It shows you this. Show pitch. It shows you this pitch values. So with this now, I can do tone analysis. I can tell you what tone. Now, anyway, I'm not in a tone class, so I'll leave that aside. I can show you intensity. Okay, that's the force or intensity of the file itself. I can show you the format. The format are shown. That's the red stuff. I can show you pulses, but we don't need intensity for now. So let's just leave the format and the spectrogram. So this is what it is. Now remember that we have two files, two recordings, right? So we're going to choose one to work with, and we're going to delete the other one. Okay. You can cut and paste in Pratt too. You just come to edit, you select, you drag, okay, or you put your cursor in one point, press shift, click the other point. All right. So I've selected, I come here, cut. Okay. So let's say I want to paste it here. V, or you come to edit, paste. Paste after selection, paste over selection. I'm coming, let me undo that, which is Ctrl Z. So I select here, paste before selection, that's to the left of the cursor. Paste over selection directly within that time frame. Paste after. Okay. So if I press Ctrl V, is just paste after. Okay. So that is why you have this. Okay. But since I'm deleting it, I'm not pasting it. So we'll listen to the two files. I will choose which one we want to.
Bola J Eba. Bola J Eba.
So which one should we use? Any other opinions? First, all right. Let's go with the first. So I'm going to just cut out the second one. And another thing I could do is, for example, I could come here. I could select this first one, come to sound, okay, extract selected sound. I'm doing a bit of acoustics class already. Extract selected sound. That means just that particular sound is what you're annotating. That's what you need. Preserve times means if that sound was at point, maybe there's an audio file of 8 minutes, and then you are extracting a file from 2 minutes to 2 minutes 10 seconds. It will preserve those times. If you say selected sound but time from zero, it will reset it to zero. Okay. So I would have used extract selected sound time to zero, but I'm not extracting. So I'm just deleting this other guy, which is Control X. Let me cut something from the beginning. So this is our sound.
Bola J Eba.
We're good. So how do I save this? I can save directly from here. File. Okay, it's not allowing me to do that. But I can come here, save, okay, save as well. Now you see that these are the file formats that Praat can allow you to save an audio into. Okay, there's text file. I'll mention it later. So you save as WAV file. Okay, so let's assume we have a project in our downloads folder. I'm going to create a folder for that. Annotation. So Bola Jeba. Now you see that I selected save as WAV file, right? Now it's supposed to help me add that I'm saving as a WAV file. I have to put .wav in front so that the system can recognize as a WAV format, as an audio file, basically. Okay, if not, it will just be as a file. All right. So how do I then annotate? Now, before you start annotating, you have to understand that annotation is based on there's no general the general should I say concept of annotation. Okay, but we don't annotate the same things at the same time, right? So maybe for example, in my project, I was trying to build a phonological corpus. So my annotation was more of going to be the textual representation of the words, right? The phonological forms, that's the I mean, the phonetic and phonemic transcription of the sounds. Are you with me? Then, because I was dealing with tone, I had to label also the tones in each file, I mean, in each word, and then probably break them into syllables and then also identify words. Okay? Now, all of these things will be on different, what we call, what different layers. Is these layers that we call tiers. These tiers house different information. Okay? That's what we call annotation labeling. So they carry different labels. Are you with me? Now, because the particular label we are also giving that file at a particular point in time might not apply to all of the particular file. There's something we call boundaries or annotation boundaries. Okay, that's what helps us restrict. Okay, I say okay, maybe I'm saying low tone. That's also okay. This low tone this label of low tone applies from this point to this point. You see that now as you move on. So now you come to annotate. Are you seeing annotating? Annotate. Hmm? You click on annotate. So those of you with your laptops, are you there? Click on annotate. Now you see to text grid. Okay. Pratt annotation file is called a text grid. Okay. It's called a text grid. Now you see two things: tier names and point tiers. What you need basically are the tier names. Okay, you don't need this point tier information. So this Mary John Bell is just to give you an example of your tier names. Now, so let's assume we are in a phonology class. Okay, or let's assume that we want to build a model that can recognize word. I mean, recognize different sounds, recognize the tone because we're dealing with African languages now. The tone in different words. Okay, are you with me? What kind of tiers would we need, or what kind of labels would we need for this particular audio file we're working with? So now we are trying to let the machine read, understand what sound is in the audio file, what sounds, right? What tones, okay? And maybe the word itself. And maybe we want to also tell it how many syllables. How many tiers do you think we would have? Okay. Sorry, one guy, I need a guy to assist me. Okay, so there's no how to get to the board is because I wanted to explain something to you before we start doing all this. Mhm. All right. So we said we're trying to let the. Are we still together? For example, let's say we're trying to let the machine understand some certain information. And what information did we use? We said we wanted to understand the sound. Are you? Yes. What other information? The tone, yeah. The word itself. Okay, syllables. Now, maybe we also want to also add information about what that particular word means in the analysis language. Hmm? We'll put, let's say, meaning, assuming, okay? Um, Maybe then we want to put your sentence. Now, this is giving us how many layers already? One, two, three, four, five, six. So this is 6 tiers. Okay, because we want information per tier. Are you with me? One information per tier. And you have to yeah, there's what we now call tier names. We give them these names directly, but because depending on when and where you are working, they might give you okay, name this particular tier this way, this particular tier. So I remember I was doing something on voice onset timing for someone, and then the particular tier had to be named voice onset timing. Just okay, write VOT. So whoever picks that up knows that VOT tier talks about the duration when we have voice onset time or aspiration. Okay, so we could say, okay, this tier will be called phone, okay, tone, word, or maybe they told you to put something else, or maybe you want to say lexeme. Thank you. Syllables, you could just put seal or whatever. Meaning, let's say gloss. Okay, depending on our analysis language. Sentence, then the sentence. Okay, or phrase or whatever it is. Okay, so this is what we're going to have as our tiers. Okay, these are the tier names. Now, if it was ELAN, creating tiers is in a different way. But for Flex, for Pratt, it's very simple. So I just come in, type all the tier names here. Are you with me? So now, is there a need to probably order these tiers? Yeah, maybe. Let's start from the phone. Okay, space, not comma, space. Let's do the syllable because in this is a Yoruba data, and in Yoruba the tone is on the syllable unless otherwise specified. Right? Then we have the tone. So I'm just yeah. Then we have the word lexem. We could put word or lex. Then we have the gloss and sentence. Those are all our tiers. Okay. If we press OK, now see what happens. We have this. So how then do we start annotating? You select this text grid file. You press Shift on your laptop, or Control, and select the sound file with the same name. You see that both of them have the same name. The only difference is that one is a sound, one is a text grid. So you come to view and edit. Now you see that how many levels do we have? One, two, three, four, five, six. They has even labeled them for us. The first is the phone, syllable, tone, lexeme, word, sentence. Okay, and on your right here you see that it has given you phonetic characters already, so that you won't search yourself by going to copy somewhere and all those things. So now let me zoom into this part so that we annotate this part. Okay, I'm going to hide the formats for now because we don't really need it for anything. So the page, let me leave it there. So now, what's the let's to listen to this? How do we listen? You press this, what we call visible part. Okay, this thing that has a label of visible part. Can you see it? Bola.
Bola,
That's how you listen. That's for your selection actually. If I zoom out, you see that now we have three levels. The first one is the selection.
Bola,
The second one is
Bola
the
J is
entire audio file within the visible frame. The third layer is the total
Bola
duration.
J Eba.
Okay, those are the three levels at which you can listen. So now we know that this is a word, Abi Bola.
Bola,
Now I can decide to annotate the word first, since that's a word on its own. So any annotation I do right now, you see that this number one tier is yellow. Any annotation I do right now will be on that tier. But our lexeme is on the fourth tier. So I come and click this. See that it has moved to the fourth tier. Now I can annotate that because I'm annotating the whole word. So because I've selected already, if I press enter, it will automatically add boundaries for me at the right and the left edge of the selection. Can it undo? No. But now, if I want to add it manually, I can select a point. Okay. Let's say I selected this point. These circles are points where I could add boundaries. A boundary has been created there. Okay. So how do I delete my boundary? And that way you could add the boundaries, just come to boundary, add on whatever tier, add on all tiers. So based on that selection point, you will add on all tiers. Okay. And then add on selected here at that point in time, and I can remove it. Hmm? And the shortcut is Alt Backspace. I've removed it. Now, I know that this boundary here applies to both the phone, the tone, and the syllable, right? So I can move it, I can still apply it here, apply it here, apply it here, apply it here. I can still apply it here, here. Okay, but I can't do the same for some other ones. So Lexim, that's Bola, right? Bola. This is where I had a sub dot. This Z, Y, 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 and O stuff are variables. Okay, showing their critics and all those things. So I'm looking for a sub dot. Does it have a sub dot? It's not a sub dot per se. Oh, yeah, this. Yeah, you can use. You have keyman keyboard. Okay, so if you have a keyman keyboard, you're good. You're good to go. Okay. Okay, that's like. Oh, this is Microsoft keyboard. It's not my thing. It won't work. Okay, yeah. Thank you. Then, these are tone marks. Okay. Now, one thing we didn't conclude is, are we writing this? Okay, lexeme would be. Are we transcribing it, or we are writing orthographically? And I think because we are doing a phonological thing, we should transcribe. Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to come into here. So let me just. Okay. This sentence form, I could use orthography. Okay, but for this I'm going to stick to, okay, bola. So bola, right? Now the tone, before I talk about tone, we have to talk about syllable. Right, so let's go back to the first year now. So I'm going to come here, phone. Now phone, at the phone level, that's at each sound, right? So bola, let me come out a bit. Now you know we made one mistake. Eh? What do you think is wrong with the boundary? My boundary actually starts at ah, because there's something here. Can you hear it? That's the plosion. The plosion is released here. So that shows that I can move my boundaries. All right. So I'll just move my boundaries. I'll add new boundaries here. But what I'll then do is delete the rest. So it will still delete for this. I won't delete it for this actually because that's where my bar. I'll just move a little bit because of the line. So now if I play this, right, that's my bar. So where's my or? Let's listen again.
Bola J.
So it should be somewhere around here. So let me put my cursor here. Let me play.
Bola J.
All right. So that means my or should end here. I put this here. Definitely that will be the end of the syllable also. And then I can annotate the tone part. All right. So or, where's my or? Syllable. That will be bo. Right. Then the tone. What tone is there? The high tone. Computer doesn't understand whether we call it me or, so just with the H as the high, depending on whatever conventions we are using for the project at hand. All right. Then this is our,
Bola
and I think actually this guy could have ended here because here is just noise.
J.
All right. It's just extra whatever. So I'll just move this here and then I'll delete this. Alt backspace, or you come to boundary, remove. Okay, so then I know that. How do I know my la? So for syllable, I can put la. Oh, sorry, la. It's also high. So hello, sir. Yes, sir. Have you called him? Okay. Do you know his office? The director's office. Yeah, check if he's there and let him know that someone is. All right. So let's distinguish between le and a. So it would check if it's around for you. Yeah. So let me play. So that's my le. So I'm going to put this here. Then ah. Okay. So I'm done with that part. That is done. Okay. Let me zoom to all. So the same thing is what I will do for these ones. I'll just move very fast and do them myself. Okay. But I think you get the. Any questions up to this point? Okay. Mhm. Tone. Yeah. You could do stress. You could do so. It depends on what work you're doing. I mean, what kind of answers you're doing. Maybe they're telling you to look for, um, uh, maybe prenasalization or postnasalization, or you're looking for voicing or devoicing. Depending on what kind of analysis you're doing, the tears and all those things. Are we good? All right. So I'm just going to proceed to do some of this because of time. Sorry, I didn't add one thing there. What do you observe? The R lingers a bar. Seems like there's this extra. I mean, that's something else for me to think about, but it's interesting. I'll just leave that. I'll just huh? J, the jar, right? The boundary. For on all, that's control F9. The shortcuts are here. The shortcuts or whatever you're doing will be there. Um, all right. So now this is all our file, and we're done. Now, for those of you who tried on your laptop, did you get up to this point? The gloss. Okay, what's wrong? Yeah, what's the issue? Yeah, it's there. It's there. Just because of the small view that we have. That so sometimes price can look like this as though you didn't put in, but just if you zoom in, you will see everything. Okay. So now I'm gonna put everything here. I made a mistake here. Yeah. So how then do I save this file? I come here, file, okay, save whole test grid as a text file. Okay. So you see now the name of the sound file dot text grid is what we get. I save. So I can close this. I can close Pratt, and I find. So if I want to edit it again, I just go to open, read from file. I find my test grid file and my audio file. Okay. So how do I rename a file? I click the file. I come to rename. It shows me this. Then I see that it's using underscores a lot because it doesn't take space in the name file in the names. So any space becomes an underscore. Are you getting it? Any question?
Anything you want to do as regards annotation on parts does not really go beyond the scope of what we've done now. It really requires deep technology
I mean, what? Yeah, knowing fully well what it is that you are doing, and yeah, I mean, so far you are annotating. Now there's something called Pratt scripting, whereby you could write programs, you could write some line of code to help you automate some things, right? But some of them will still require you to do a bit of, but all of them still work with tiers and WAV files. All right, so that's how you be. Now with this, now I can I can open a text grid file in ELAN. A text grid file, a Pratt text grid file in ELAN, and I'll be fine. Studio, what Studio Lab? I don't think I've heard of that. Speech annotation. Okay. In fact, okay. Does it work? So if the way it works is some of these softwares work with one another. There's another software that I've seen. I've seen Wave. I've seen a lot of audio annotation files. There's even one I saw that can help you that works basically more for tone and stress and pitch. Most of them are interoperable because Pratt is like the let me search for that studio lab though. Pratt is like the widely used one, right? So sometimes a lot of them are com compatible with Pratt. So they allow you to bring in Pratt files so that you can maintain your annotation. Then we'll do your own work. There's SIL speech analyzer or something, and that one also is a bit fun. But Pratt is the most widely used one. So now let me do this Pratt picture thing a bit. Now you see this option to draw. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Draw. If I click on draw, did you guys see what just happened? Some of you did not see it. Draw. If I press OK, so that's what Pratt picture is for. And I can export it from here. Export. How do I just press Control S? I say Bola Jeba. Then I put a .png in front. If I co-
That's the picture.
yeah. So if I come to my let's see. Voila. This is neater to put in your assignment and your project than screenshotting your laptop. I can show you my project. That's what I did. Okay. Nobody sees my cursor. And it is what I want to put on the it's whatever output I want in the Proud picture that I put there. I can export different things, okay? But that's not for today. Maybe we have a more intensive thing about Proud. Fine. But this is basically how you annotate things on Proud. All right. Any questions thus far? But you guys will go practice and then let's know if you have further questions. All right. Because of time, this is 3:42. Yep.
Well, it's kind of when I the time probably have questions when I practice.
Yeah. No, no, no problem. No problem. Just let me know. So I will run through ELAN very quickly. Okay. Very quickly. Yeah. But why not? Okay. Ooh. Oh yeah. All right. Can we continue? All right. For those of you who are able to download ELAN, so I'm going to install ELAN here now. This is how to install ELAN. So come to download ELAN. Okay. You double click as you want to install generally. Run. Okay. Yeah. So it shows you this. Okay. For ELAN, shows you this. Next, choose a default folder. Yes, I'm good. You are worthy of my worship. worthy of my praise. La 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 la. So let's wait while it installs, and I think we're good. Oh, oh Jesus. All right. So once it's done installing, this is what you get. Okay. So I click finish. I should see the ELAN stuff somewhere here. Okay. So I'm just going to come to my start menu. So you said ELAN 6.8. I click it. Ali, ali, ali. You are worthy of my. All right. So this is
So are you going to use that text grid file
with ELAN. Yeah, I can do that.
like, are you going to use it as practice now?
Yeah, I can do that now.
Can you send it to the so that we can
Okay.
provide them?
Let me have it. So now, if I open it on ELAN,
Sorry.
sorry. Do I have? I'm coming. Let me. So what I would do on ELAN, okay? I would see if I can get a template
Okay.
that I can work with. If not, yes, but he just prefers WAV files because of for quality analysis sake. All right, so I'll send you these files now. I'll just send the annotation folder to the USB. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Um, gbogbo ẹ̀ ló ṣe àyàfi ẹyọ kan wọ́n dẹ̀ ti ra mọ́nítọ̀ ẹ̀ wá. So yeah, yàtọ̀ sí ẹyọ kan tó ti ra mọ́nítọ̀ ẹ̀ wá. Okay, but okay, máa lè lò. Àwọn kan máa need Windows upgrade. Àdẹ̀sọ̀ fún Mr. Yusuf ó dà pé wọ́n ní méjì nù wọ́n lè gba upgrade. Yeah. All right, so this is whenever you open ELAN, this is how ELAN looks. Okay? Yeah, that's what they are doing at the moment. I'll just do some I'll just do some minor tweakings. I'm just gonna do some minor tweaks. So no, don't worry. It's just my preference for ELAN that I'm trying to. I just don't like. You can take the back up. So what I did basically was I just made some settings and ensure that it looks more like a Windows stuff instead of a Mac. Print tax. Okay, so this is what we have. All right. Okay. Are we together? So how do I open a file in ELAN? New. That's a new file, right? Now, let me go to annotation. Okay, I open the folder where my files are. You see the common files in it here? MPG, MPG, that's for video, right? WAV for audio. Then MP4, MPG4, MOV, and QT. That's for Mac videos, QuickTime. So that it's more of video files than audio. So it's just one audio file format that it takes, and that's MP. I mean WAV. Every other thing are video files. MPG are MPEG file format, MP4 file format, and QuickTime file. So you see that go for WAV, they are dealing with ELAN. So once I select this, I press this button, meaning that's the file I'm selecting. These are the files in the folder. This is the file I'm selecting. Okay. If there's an ELAN annotation template that I'm using, okay, I can select. If I select this and I find
I'm
it,
sorry, sir. The thing is hard to navigate here.
where are you exactly? Are you there? The rest of you, are you there?
So that's the annotation folder.
Okay.
But I'm unable to.
No, you are using open.
Okay,
Use new.
okay,
That's when you see this true.
okay.
Are we all together now? Hmm? What's the issue? Let me see. Um, oh, you downloaded simple ELAN. Yes. We are using, I mean, simple ELAN is fine. Simple ELAN just helps you. Simple ELAN gives you a simple annotation file that you can then work on in the main ELAN file. But let me have that file so I can copy the proper ELAN for you. Okay, it's there already. Trying to check out something. I mean, it's basically the same opening file selection stuff, but it's just that simple ELAN is limited. Let's just say, come in, let me find the video. I mean, so basically, you see that it's just very little compared to this main ELAN. So that's why, yeah. So install that one and then you can catch up. All right, so I'm going to add that file. So once I add the file, I click OK. Okay, I clicked OK. File new. I find it. Okay, then I click on this arrow. I'm using the file from Praat, right? Okay, go to settings. He's looking Mac Ishabi. Go to edit, preferences, edit preferences. You come to platform/OS, then you see use Windows look and feel. Then you close your ELAN and open it again. Yeah. Ah. All right. So this is all our files. So I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. Yeah, so that I can have all of this. Okay. I won't be okay. I'm supposed to do that. So I would try and see. Okay. Let me check something on Elan's website for you guys to read. So I'll open the Elan manual and show you something. Documentation. La, 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 la. Annotations. Yeah. Okay. So there's a whole lot to learn about Elan, right? I'm going to stick to what you can do in a very short time. Okay. Now, there are also tiers in Elan. Okay. But unlike Pratt, where each tier is independent of the other, Elan doesn't work that way. All right. Elan works like a nesting situation. What I mean by nesting, the tiers are connected to one another based on their alignment to the time code or time duration. So now, if you remember our Pratt, we had 6 layers, right?
Yes.
So let's assume these 4 layers. At the top, we had the sound, right? The syllable, the tone, the word, right? And then the gloss, the same. All right, so let me do that. 6. But these layers are related to each other in different ways, right? Now, the sentence is Bola Je Eba, right? Now, right? Now, the gloss and the lexeme are related to this Bola Jeba, but they are not tied to it. Because Bola Jeba is tied to actually the let's assume that this is our wave form, okay? Right? The Bola is tied to this particular part of the audio file. This is independent. It's just saying this whole file, this is what you find there. Have you? Now, Bola is tied to this portion. Right? J is tied to this portion. Right? These 3 are tied to the time, to this time subdivision. They divide the time. Right? So okay, this is what you find in this part of the timeline. Right? Now, we now said we had lexeme, the gloss, right? So gloss is still tied to this one. So that's where we have Bollard. I won't deal with that. It's as independent as this, but it's connected to this. We now add the syllables. The syllables are tied to this. Hmm? So it's still nested. So in our hierarchy, the syllable tier is under this. Right? Now, you could subdivide that Bollard time in 2 ways. You could say, okay, at this point of the time within this particular time you're looking at, actually within the first 2 seconds, this is what you have there. This is what you have at this point. You could have that. Okay? So we now had maybe our ball was here, our R was here.
Yeah.
Then we now say we want to subdivide this into, I said they are relating to one another in different ways. Right? Okay? Now, depending on how we want to annotate, we might not actually even annotate. Maybe we are looking at the file with different phrases. Okay? Maybe, for example, I remember one that I was doing for when I was working with Dr. Modeja on his pidgin data, part of the Nigeria dictionary project that Dr. mentioned. There was part of the data that I was working on, and then I had to annotate a part from that. It was just based on what the person said. Then you had to break it down automatically into the words inside. I was the one we didn't break it down into the words inside based on individual time units. It was based on just tell me the words inside. That would be connected to the upper tier in a different way compared to when this one is okay. This sound at this point of the time. I don't know if you know what I'm saying.
I'm confused.
Okay, I'm confused. So what I'm saying is, in Pratt, our tiers are just independent,
Yes, yeah.
right? But in ELAN, ELAN allows us to connect those tiers to one another in an hierarchical way. Number one, also shows the level of relationship they have and how they affect the timeline. I know if that makes sense. Should I say that again? Yes. ELAN allows us to connect the tiers together in an hierarchical way. Okay? And it shows the relationship between those tiers, especially in relation to the timeline of the file we are creating. Okay? Now, the way we ELAN also allows us to show particularly what kind of grammatical, in that sense, or what kind of linguistic information is on each tier. I don't know if you remember what I'm saying. Now, the kind of linguistic information we are coding on each tier is shown by what we call a tier type. Okay? I'm getting this very good here. A tier type, okay? That's what type of tier is, what type of linguistic information are you encoding in this tier? Okay? So if I call a particular tier type to function as when you have morphemes, I cannot put all words in that tier unless that all word is a morpheme. I get what I'm saying. If I condition a tier type to have gloss, I can't put the lexeme form inside. Okay, because of how I configured it. Now, the relationship is what we identify by what we call time subdivision. Okay, and I will show you now. So I will show you the ELAN manual online, and then we'll read it together, and then I will explain that to us. Okay, are we good?
Yeah.
Any questions up to that point? Any questions? Okay. So now let's look at this. So let's go to the manual. Now, adding new tier types. So I'll read this throughout. Okay, let me come to defining new tier types. Okay. Yeah. So it says each tier is assigned to a tier type, like I just explained, right? Each tier type specifies the stereotypical constraint, and as a consequence, whether or not the tiers are time alignable. That is, whether the tier is to be aligned directly to the timeline, or to something else, maybe to another tier. Now, she said, information about the relationship between tiers is given in two different places. For each individual tier, is given in the art tier dialog, and for all tiers belonging to one tier type, it is given in the art type, right? So that's we'll see that one. Huh? Okay, we'll see now. Now, if you look at this art type, you look, if you see this, let me zoom out a bit. Yeah. See this image. You see this image when you're adding tier types. We'll ask you, you see that they are saying the syntax, right? That's the tier type name. That's the name of the type that these are the details I want to encode in this tier. So there'll be a syntax that there'll be, this is for sign language, actually, sign language annotation. Motion code, motion expression, person expression, special communication, gesture. There are different tier type. That's depending on what you're trying to do, right? Now, you now see tier type name, stereotype. Sorry, I was, yeah. What I call types of division is actually stereotype. Yeah, stereotype. And they will explain to us what stereotypes are. Stereotype, then you want to use a control vocabulary and all those things, but we don't need that for now. Now, if you come closer, so I'm going to go to stereotype now and show us how stereotypes work. Okay, so is it loaded now? Why is it not loading? Yes, so yep. So if you look at this, this is how tiers are connected to each other. Okay, I would explain this later. Now let's move closer. Let's move down. Now you see this what we call dependencies, right? It says there's a tier type, independent refer. These are just general. You can have two tier types: independent tier types or referring tier types. Hierarchical relation. This independent is a parent of TX and MB. That means, okay, so let me draw the hierarchy. Right? So that means at the top you have this ref, Abi. Then under ref you have TX. So that means now they said ref is the parent of TX and MB. Oh, I'm saying that, and FT rather. So that means under ref you have two. This is how ELAN will actually give it to you. TX and FT. Okay. Now for TX is the parent of MB. So under MB, under TX, you now have MB. MB is the parent of GL and PG, right? And PS. GL, this is at the same PS. GL is gloss, this one. PS is part of speech. MB is morpheme boundary. So it's the morphemes that we get. Text is just the word, okay? The word pattern. Then you now have FT. FT is the free translation. Now see that these guys are related to each other in different ways, right? And they encode different information. Information on this FT tier. So these two are independent tiers. I mean, they are referring tiers. They are aligned to a portion of the time. But this ref is not because it's the mother. It just contains. It's just independent. It's not aligning to the time and then the stage of the job. Now, compared to Pratt, you can't show this of Pratt, right? But we can show this in Flex. That's a lot of times. I mean, let's say Flex. Elan. I use Flex a lot. And yeah, Elan connects to Flex too. So that's another sweet working thing. I mean, there's a project I'm doing right now. I hope I get it finished soon. What I did was gather some pidgin texts, some text in the chat. I'm annotating them using Flex. I can move them into the for further to expand what I mean. what I'm doing on the flex basically for now is to and give them each of them their part of speech, their lesson form, their glosses. I could still break it into different things, identify the different models. So what I do, I just do it and create TS for this ELAN. And technically, I mean, I have a purpose, right? So you could. That's what I did too for my project. My project is about 3 hours audio, and I'm only there about 1 hour. So now these are different hierarchies. So if I'm probably going to have TS for this in ELAN, okay, this is our Bola J Eba, right? I mean,
Yes.
so Bola J. Now this ref is just independent. So we are going to have one more ref, okay. Then we have our TX, okay. Let's just assume that that's our part. Then under the TX we now have our NB. NB then gives us plot and gives us at the same level with PS, okay. Then TX and FT. Free trans. Now, remember I said at the beginning that annotations, I mean, the tiers you have are dependent on what project you're working on. Some people will give you their template files already that this is how we structured our annotation. So just follow it. They only just to tell us what is on what thing. There are some that require to create. Okay. I'm just becoming good at creating my own tiers and tier types. Sometimes you just do templates because it saves your time. Right? So now for this TX is for each word, right? So let's change this. So this ref now will give us let's say it will give us the general let's use a different let's use a string of words. Okay, two phrases. Um let's say we have something like this and this. So this is Bolawa Lana. Okay. I'm assuming that in this annotation, I'm splitting it into two. Okay? Instead of having them as one. So this is my boundary, this is my boundary, this is my boundary, this is my boundary. Okay? Now, this is Bola or Lami. It's just an independent string. So this is morpheme boundary, right? Right? Now, this will be broken into Bola and Wa, right? Gloss level. We give me Bola. There's supposed to be another thing here because if I'm doing, I should have a non-future, basically. These two belong on that one, alright? Then, don't worry, let me just leave it this way, let me not complicate things. Bola, then you have home, okay? Right? That's the gloss in that. Then for this Bola, this is a noun, right? The part of speech, this is verb, right? Now, this is a bit easy compared to this. Morpheme boundary. How many morphemes are there? Hmm? Two, right? What are the morphemes? Me and Amma. So here we have two. But you know that in the timeline we didn't hear me and Amma. So that means these guys are not divided based on the time. They're just divided based on what is inside that. So they are not attached to the time. They are attached to the parents. So ELAN allows you to show those kind of operations. Then the gloss will now be let's say let's assume it is art and not yesterday. Okay, this is prep, right? Then this is right now. So the free translation which is connected to this tier will be Bola came yesterday. But anybody that sees these old annotations knows the different relationships. I get it. Which, unlike Pratt, I'm going to say flex. Unlike Pratt, we cannot see. Are you getting that?
Yes.
All right, so let's move on. Okay. Yeah, so if you look at this tier dependencies, you see what I just explained. Let me show you this new. See that is exactly what I drew out here, right? Showing the hierarchical interaction between those stuff. Sorry, I said. All right. So now, if you are showing these dependencies in the timeline viewer, this is how it will look like. In fact, you can see that it's almost like my own tier arrangement here. See the TX, that's just the word that was said within that time domain, then breaks it into 10. Then now in the morpheme boundary, you now have the individual morphemes, teng, gm, and then the gloss, right? Now, if you know about interlinear glossing now, interlinear glossing, you are using some glossing standards, and what we use is the Leipzig glossing rule, right? Then in the FT, you now have the free translation of that. Are we good now? All right, let's continue. So now let's come to tier stereotypes. Okay. Now there are 5 tier stereotypes. Okay, this can be very confusing. It took me a while for me to learn it too, and I'm still learning it. So this is a revision for me, something you get it. So now you can have 5 stereotypes. Number one, you have none. Okay, now can we read what is there? Can we see it? The annotation on the tier is linked directly to the time axis. That is, the annotation is entered on an independent tier, and two annotations can overlap, which means this kind of tier types that have non stereotypes cannot be children. They can only be parents. So this ref, is it a what kind of stereotype do you think it has? That ref tier over there. Yeah, it's a parent. So that means it has a non stereotype because it is independent. I get it. Now we now have time subdivision. Now can we read it? It says the annotation on the parent tier can be subdivided into small units, which in turn can be linked to what? Time intervals. Note that there are no time gaps allowed. That is, the smaller units have to immediately follow each other. This type of tiers are dependent tiers, that they must have parents. E.g., an utterance transcribed on a parent tier can be subdivided into words, each of which is then linked into its corresponding time interval. Okay? So it means that legit, we shouldn't have a break. We can't have a break in between because these guys, this time subdivision are subdivisions of the parent tier within a particular time line. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Hmm? We are still going to apply that same thing to this our tier because these details we will use for our inline. Okay. So which of these would be the would carry the non-stereotype? Which of these ones?
Sentence.
Sentence. Okay. So we know that already this is non. Let me just clean this up. Okay. Now, which of these will carry the time subdivision? Word, right?
Yes.
So this is time sub. Okay. So by the time we're creating our types, would now Let's look at the next one. Symbolic subdivision. What is it said? Similar to time subdivision, except that smaller units cannot be what? Linked to a time interval. The smaller units form a chain that is another sequence of units. These tiers of these types are dependent tiers. They must have parent. E.g., a word on a parent care can be subdivided into individual morphemes which are not linked into time intervals. So in this our first tier, which of them is a symbolic subdivision? Hmm? Morpheme boundary is symbolic, gloss is symbolic, and PS is symbolic. Why? Because they are basically subdivisions of this guy. So basically, symbolic subdivisions are tier types that it is you bring something else into it, but they are not aligned, they are not attached to the time. They are attached to a parent. Right? So for example, our this meaning, so let's make this gloss, okay? Instead of meaning, okay? To keep up with linguistic standards. So this gloss also will be a time subdivision. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
Hmm? That our gloss will be a time subdivision. Now, a symbolic subdivision would be something like syllable, right?
Yes.
And tone. Okay? So syllable will be symbolic subdivision. I don't get the point. Are you with me?
Yes.
Now the next one is included in all annotations on a parent tier. On all annotations on a tier of this type are linked to the time axis and are enclosed within the boundaries of an annotation on the parent tier. However, there can be gaps between the child annotations, unlike subdivision. Tiers of these types are dependent. E.g., a sentence with a silence can be split up into words, while the silence corresponds to a gap in the child's annotations. So, for example, included in hmm, included in those tier types that are of the included in type are linked to the time. Okay, but compared to time subdivision, you can have gaps. For time subdivision, you can have gaps. For included in, you can have gaps. Okay, so for example, maybe the utterances Bola, Ra, the person now paused for a while. Apa. Hmm? If you're going to break it, it's better to use included in for the words because there's a silent here, right? So I'll be able to say Bola Ra, that is one. Then, okay. Then we'll now use another tier. So this will be like maybe a phrase, okay?
Yes.
This will now be the word. So this will now use time sub, okay? So that will now break this into the words Bola, Ra, Ata. Because this one you can't allow space, but this one can allow space. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
All right. Then the last one is symbolic association. Symbolic association, the annotation on the parent here cannot be subdivided further. So symbolic annotations for the parent you can subdivide them. That is, there is a one-to-one correspondence between the parent annotation and the final annotation in this tier. Tiers of this type are dependent tiers. E.g., one sentence on a parent tier has exactly one feature translation, or one word has one gloss. So this um, gloss, okay, should be, let's call it a symbolic association. Okay. Um, tone, the sound should be included in. You can use sound this phone as included in. Okay. Or we could use this phone as a symbolic or as a time subdivision. These two, one can be symbolic, can be time subdivision actually because they are within parts of the timeline. For example, these are our Bola, the birth is within a point in time, or right? There can be time subdivisions, tone can be time subdivision with syllable. But gloss has to be a symbolic association, right? So let's look at it very well and then we'll. The fourth one, that's none. That's at the top. Fourth, this one, included in. Included in, so they are connected to the time within a parent there, but they allow gaps. Unlike time subdivision where there's no gap. All right. So with this in mind, I hope I still remember it perfectly. Let's create tier types for our data. All right. Then we'll do the annotation and we move. Then I will show you how to import. Sir?
Just a minute.
All right.
Um, this my mama will see you tomorrow. Hello? You know?
Yes, sir.
This my mama will come over tomorrow.
Okay.
She will see you.
Okay.
She's starting her class next week.
Okay.
And then if everything she needs to know,
Okay.
is tell
No
her.
problem. All right. Yes.
That's the money. Okay. So,
Ekasan. 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 All right.
so
Yeah.
now you talk to her tomorrow, right?
Yeah. Definitely. Yes, ma'am. All right. So very quickly, let's create our tier types and then we move. All right. So how do we add tier types? Okay. Before I add tier types, let's read a bit further and then let's see what they said. So this is it. So now look at this. Let me show us this image. Can you see it? Okay. Are we together? Now you look at this that time. So they said time subdivision. Each word is linked individually to a time axis, right? They are trying to tell us just explaining again what they are. Then there's none. None, that is the independent parent here. Transcript is linked directly to time axis. So if you look at this text file, this text is none. Okay? That's the parent here carrying the general word. Are we together? So in our case, the sentence will be none. Right? Are we with me? Is it confusing? All right. So let's quickly create that for ourselves now. Let's come to ELAN. Tier type, add new tier type. Okay? Let me show you what I did. Come to type. Okay? Add new tier type. Okay? So what's the name of our tier type? Let's call it let's call it a phrase. Okay? Or yeah, because all we have is a phrase. Because yeah. Is it touchscreen? What's happening exactly?
I don't know. And I try to press repair.
Sorry guys, give me a minute. It's okay.
Okay.
It's okay. You've installed it already. Yeah, so let's just
It's
so there you are. You can open the file now and join us.
Thank you, sir. Okay. The file you share with us.
Okay.
I think it's here.
The Did someone cut out the annotation file?
No, it's here.
I'm supposed to see. Okay, source Baba. Okay. You come to file, new, whole day, desktop, annotation. Okay, you press this and then okay, voila. Yeah. So one thing about Elan is Elan can save automatically, but you have to tell it to save automatically. I'll show you now. But let's just create a phrase tier type. Okay. Are we doing this together now? You come to tier, you come to type, you create tier type. Okay. Now our stereotype is none, right? So let's just leave it like this. We set it to add. Okay. No, don't worry about this one. Sorry.
Okay, you just for type name.
Phrase, then none. Okay. Now you can close. Let me show you how to save. Are we looking at me? All right. So you come to file, save. Okay. Then you say find your file, save it there. You save it as an EAF file. Okay. Now you now come to automatic backup.
So the stereotype is none.
None. Yeah.
Okay. Uh,
So you come to file, you see automatic backup. You click on. So it starts backing up. Yeah, but you have to keep pressing Ctrl S to. It's just backup for you. Then you can adjust the settings, backup settings, how many minutes, backup interval at every 1 minute, every 5 minutes, every 10 minutes. I get in. Then maybe you want it to create 5 backup files per backup. So you know that you have 5 backups. Okay? So you just do all that and you're good to go. So that's backing up. So we are going back to resuming our tier type. Remember that it's type that we are creating, not yet the tiers themselves. So another type would be, now look at the word. Okay. Now what did they tell us? They said the word is time subdivision. That's why it is attached to this red. It said each word is linked individually to the time axis. If gaps between annotations are allowed, choose included stereotype. So, for example, they are saying basically that the difference between time subdivision and included in is that time subdivision does not allow gap. Are you with me? But included in allows gaps. Are we together? So, our word unit. So, should it be included in or time subdivision? There's no space in between. We can use time subdivision, right? So type name would be word, subdivision would be, stereotype would be time subdivision. Then we add. Okay? Let's come back here again.
What did we use as the name?
I just use word.
type name word.
Yeah, type name is word. I just use word. You could
Stereotype is none.
is no is time subdivision. We could use time subdivision or included in. Yeah.
We have.
Yeah, we add. You could change it to maybe WD or whatever, whatever. Now, things can get very complex when you are moving across softwares. For example, when you have to move to Flex or Toolbox, it gets more messier because you have to ensure that the types are something that Flex can read. Okay? So what I do sometimes is the journey I did was started in Seymour, moved it to Flex, then from Flex to Elan. Or sometimes I did from Seymour to Flex, then Flex to Elan. So Flex will give me tier types that Elan can read, and Seymour will give me types that Elan can read. Right. So it's these things are very messy sometimes, but it's just all right. So now let's read again. Now we now see the morpheme break. Now the morpheme break and the gloss are connected. What did they use for them? symbolic subdivision. Each word is divided into morphemes, which are not linked to the time axis. Okay, so morpheme break and gloss, obviously they are not connected to time, they are connected to the parts we are connecting them to. So something like our sound, our tone, right? Our syllable, which one would they be? Tone, sound, and syllable, which one will they be? Are you sure? Are you sure? Look at, you see that is the free translation that they gave symbolic association, because it's symbolic subdivision. So we need syllable, right? So let's just use seal. Ṣé ti gbé base ẹ̀ náà? Base ẹ̀. Ó wà ńbẹ̀ yẹn náà. Okay. Kò sómi inú fridge yẹn. Oh. Seal. So symbolic subdivision, right? Yes. So our symbolic subdivision is for syllables, right? Yeah. How? Yeah, because it's not time alignable. It's not attached to the time. So I'm using SYL, seal. Okay. Then we said which one again? Tone. Tone is also symbolic. Symbolic subdivision. So let's put tone. Symbolic subdivision is added. Then we need our free translation and our gloss. Symbolic translation. They said gloss and free translation have same number of subdivision are corresponding as their parent years. No, so I will change tone to symbolic association. Do you know why? Because tone is attached to syllable. Tone is attached to syllable. So stone has to be symbolic association. So it will be the exact same time as the syllable bound. You get? I know. So you come to change, okay? And then you change the properties. So now let me add gloss. Gloss is also symbolic association, right? And then we have our free translation. I'll just use FT, symbolic association too. I add. So let's assume that I want to delete a tier type. Do you guys see? Are you guys with me now? Do you guys have the same number of tiers that I have? Same number of types. I have how many types? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Plus that. Yes. If you scroll down, you will see it. There's one default LT at the top. Eh? We are not the ones that created that one. Uh-huh. But the ones we created are 6. There's no add gloss and FT. Gloss and FT are symbolic association. 7K. Yeah, plus, yeah. So now to delete, okay, you see this option to delete, Abby? You click that, then you select what type you want to delete. I just click delete chicken. Okay, you can't delete until you've reassigned the tiers. Okay, so we can't delete that default yet. I'll show you. The reason is because it is associated to the annotation for now. Do we all have the same number of tier types now? All right. So let's move to annotation. Now, we want to start creating our tiers. We now come to tier. Okay, create, add new tier. Hmm? So what's the tier name? Let's put it as sentence. Okay, you can add the participant, maybe somebody that said it and the one that said it. So let's do EO Adegbuyi. Now maybe annotator too. So all right. Now you know that this is helping you to. Are you with me? This is helping you to track. If you are dealing with a large corpus, this is helping you to track things. I could have different tiers for different participants. Maybe you have an audio file where you have two persons. You could work around this. Hmm? Now, who is the parent tier? None. Yeah. Yeah, use yourself as an annotator. Okay? Now, in this parent tier, none. Because the tier type is default. If we choose phrase, the parent will still be none. Now, you know, he's asking that we use default as a parent, but we are not using it because we want it to be alone. Mhm. So the parent is none. The tier type is phrase. Okay. Content language, you can add language if you've added the list of language before. But input method, if you have maybe a special keyboard on your laptop, but just choose none so that you don't put yourself in trouble. You can be concluded. So then you add. I seen that. Can you see what I have on my screen? Is that what you have? Sentence has added. If you look at this place by your left, you see that sentence has added, right? Now let's add word. Okay, word. Participants, you can fill that yourself. Now you come to tier type. You choose the parent. Okay. Now it will check the list of. You come to parent tier. It will check the list of existing tiers. Okay, that can be parents based on their tier type. So we have two tiers that can be parents: default or sentence. The parent is sentence. Now see the tier type. It has changed directly to what? So there are three things that could be the children. There are four rather: word, syllable, tone, or gloss. But this tier type is a word, right? So we leave it that way. Add. Right? So you see on that parent tier, you see that it has put sentence as parent tier. Are you seeing that? If you look at the current tiers, the list of tiers at top, parent tier, you are seeing word, right? Sentence, Abi. Now, what do we want to add next? Syllable, right? So you can now put syllable in full now. Okay, participant, annotator. What's the parent tier? Now, see that there are three tiers again that can be the parent, but it's associated to the word. You see, now, tier type is syllable. Okay,
I mean, 20.
are you with me? Are we on the same page? You add. Let's add our tone. Okay, tone. Participant for syllable, right? Yes, parental is word. Now for tone, parental is syllable. Ah, yeah, parental is syllable, but the type is tone. Okay, then we add again. Which other one? Um, there's the sound, right? Yeah, sound of tone is syllable. Sound, um, So participant, annotator. I might get some things wrong, so I'm not ashamed to say that. But we are all doing this again. Now the parents of the sound will be what? Will be what? Syllable too. So the tier type is. We didn't create sound, yo. We didn't create sound type. We have to go and create it. But let's quickly create gloss. Okay, let's create gloss. The parent of the gloss will be what? Eh? Okay. So the tier type is gloss. Add. Then let's create the free translation. Free translation. What will be the parent here? Sentence. Because I've started with the sentence. Are we sure? No. Is yeah, sentence. I think I'm getting something wrong.
It remains the sound that about to add.
Yes. Anyway. Yeah. So have we added it? So the tier type will be FT. The tier type. No, we have not. I'm not saying sound. Free translation. The tier type is FT. Yes, now FT. FT. So let's close it. Go and add sound. Create new tier type. So sound. Let's just put the type name to be phone. Okay. What tier type would it be? Now let's come back here to learn again. What do you think? It's a separation of the syllable, right? So it should be symbolic subdivision, right? Symbolic subdivision. Add. Are we missing anything?
Let's go on, sir.
So let's create another tier now.
Is this TV recording, sir?
I think it is.
There's so much to take in.
Yeah. So now we are record the sound. Yes, yes,
There's so much to take in.
yes. So the parent of sound will be what?
Syllable.
Syllable, abi.
Yes.
Then the tier type is now phone. So we've added that. Now we can delete the default tier. Yep. Eh?
The sound.
Have you added the tier type as a sound? Have you added the sound tier type? Okay. How about you? All right. Yes. Okay. So now I want to delete this default tier. Okay. I want to delete it. So you come to delete and you select the tier you want to delete. Okay. Then you delete. Welcome. It is gone. Then you can now come back to the tier type. You can delete tier type too. That same default LT. Okay. We delete it because we don't need it. And we're good. Okay. Now, remember that there was something I showed you here. You delete it from the tier first because you can't delete any type that has an existing tier. Are you with me? Now, if you look at If you look at this, our Pratt, our I mean ELAN annotation, you see that look at the bottom left. You see that what you have here, you see that you have the tiers just like we have in Pratt. Abby? It's not sure how they are linked. See that it's exactly like this. Abby? So how do we then get it to be like this? It's very simple. You tier, right? Okay, don't worry. Yeah. You come to view tier dependencies. View tier dependencies. Okay, so it can show you how they are linked to each other. It's showing you already. But you come here, you right click. Okay, you come to this list. Okay, that list, you right click, you say sort tiers, sort by. Can you see sort by hierarchy? So you see sort by hierarchy, and then you have it. Now I can increase this a little bit so that we can see. So can you see the relationship? Are we good? Now I can. This whole sentence is now. So how do I create annotations? Hmm? I select all of this. Okay, okay, because I want to create annotation there. I place selection. Bola J Eba. Okay. I come to annotation, new annotation here. Are you taking note of the short key? I didn't press short key. The short key is written there. Can you see it? Can you see it? So click, it has given me that option. Okay. Now I can start typing my stuff now. Hmm? And I can choose to hold on to later. So I choose to hold on to later. Are we together? Now, word. So I select the word tier. Okay. No, I'm not supposed to do it. So to annotate on each tier, hmm, you select the tier you want to annotate. That's why the tier has to be red. So there's a sentence that is red for now. If I want to annotate on word, I say double click word. Okay. Now there's something, if you come to options, you see segmentation mode. Hmm? Segmentation mode, okay, I can only segment with the sentence. Okay, don't worry. Segmentation mode allows me to just do like a very quick annotation. I'm just listening and chopping at intervals, right? But I can only do it with the sentence here for now. I don't know. So let me come back to you come back to the annotation mode, all right? So I come to the word here, I select this. No, 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 no. I've made a mistake. This is what I'm supposed to actually have. Okay, I'm coming. I'm coming. So word here, annotation, new annotation here. It can't allow me to break it. So I need to change the tier type. Word then has to be, I'm coming. I'm coming. Okay. I have to change the word type to included in. Okay? Are you with me? I have to change that word to be included in. So I'll have to create the new type. Let me create word included in. So I'll change a tray attribute now. This word, I'll change the type to the second word that I created so that I can word. Like I created another word type, but this time is WRDD, so that I won't cause confusion. Yes. So this is it. This is something now. Because I've changed it to included, you remember that time subdivision does not allow us to have gaps in between. Do you remember? Right? That's why it didn't allow me to select a point and annotate. But now that I changed it to included in, right? I could now select a point. That's why I could segment. Now let me come back to all my tiers and see if I still have any tier with the word type. So I can delete this word tier type now. Change tier type. This word now, this first one I can delete it. Okay, so this is what I'll do. I'll change it to included in, then I'll delete this word. Sorry, what I'm doing basically is I'm trying to manipulate things. Okay, if I had gotten it right from the beginning, I won't be doing all of this. Yeah, with that name. So I'm coming. Um, okay. So I'm coming. Change the attributes. Word. Like I said, you can't delete a type that has a tier attached to it. So these words now I can delete it. Yeah. So that's why I first created another tier type with WRDD. Eh? That its own stereotype is included in. Okay. Then I now went to tier, change that word tier, change the tier type to WRDD type. Okay. So that I can delete the first, I can change the attribute of the first word to included in. Then I now went back to tier, change that word tier, change the type again back to the first word so that the new one I created, I can delete that one. Though by the time you're watching the video, you get what I did because everything I'm saying, I'm explaining. All right. So, yeah. So now, um, coming, there's a problem. I'm having a problem here. Oh, I think I made a mistake here.
Now we now delete the time name with the tier name with GD.
Yes, that's if you fix the first one to be included in, then now change it back. So include close tier attributes word change. Okay, right now. I've gotten it properly. I've gotten it properly. Okay, so if you've don't know those with me, that was quite like a round trip. We didn't, I said at the beginning that we can get something wrong, right? Yeah. So now, can you come to options and come to segmentation mode? Okay, are we there? Come to segmentation mode. You now see this. Segmentation mode is like I said, quickly helping you to, you know, annotate. So you select, double click this word tier. Okay. Once you double click, you see that that word comes to the top and becomes bigger. Abi? Then our cursor is still at the beginning. Now, look here. You see the segmentation key. Enter, Abi. So that means if you want to segment. What should you press? Enter. So I place my cursor here at the beginning of this baba, of this bola, right? I press enter. Okay? I press enter. Then I play. Bola J. That's too fast. Let me come back here. Okay? I bring it back to the end of that bola. I press enter again. You see that there's a line. Hmm? I've created boundaries. Now, because this is a very short stuff, okay, it's easier for me to just pinpoint the place I'm segmenting and create. But if it's maybe a longer file, I'll just keep listening. I'll be pressing enter, 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 enter. I'll be creating my boundaries as I'm going. I don't know if you get the logic. All right. So I come here, enter. You see that the first boundary is there already, right? Then another enter, enter, enter. Now, if I come to annotation mode, you see that I have. Are you with me? Now, um, now, what if I want to create some tiers that link to some other tiers? What if I want to automatically create those boundaries on those levels? Mr. Kenny, what if I want to automatically get? So I come to annotation. Hmm? Okay. Are you guys with me? You come to create depending annotations. Create depending annotations. Okay. Now, you see, every tier that is linked to it, okay, automatically has a tier of the same size, of the same boundary. Are you getting it? Bola J Eba. I'm saying because I did create depending annotations, those tiers that are linked to it as children automatically have boundary lines with the same. So if I come to this sentence annotation too, and I say create dependent annotations, it's going to create on everything, but that's going to be a problem for me, and I don't want that. Wait, redo. This thing is gone. Let me just do this again. Um, I mean, but you get the logic of what I did, right? Yeah, but you get the logic of what I did, right? So right now, if we do it, you can scatter some things, but let's not trouble ourselves for now. You double click. So now this is where we are presently. Okay, are we all here? Okay. Now you come to options. Okay, transcription mode. Hmm? You go to options. Options. Yes. You go to options. Eh? Click transcription mode. Have you seen what it brought out? Now select type of column. You see that it's asking you that what columns do you want to. Let me show you what you're saying. Show me what you're saying. Show me what you're saying, Jerry. And that's it. That's it. You now see this space in front of one. Select type for column. So let's do the. Now it's asking to annotate based on the phrase type. Phrase. We can annotate free translation. Let's add another column because it can only allow you to annotate based on linked types. Yeah, because after phrase, the next thing that is linked to phrase is free translation that are on the same level with it. Okay. Now, if we had chosen word, we can choose gloss after that. Okay, because those are the ones that are the same level. Look at, if you remember our hierarchy, let me close this. Come back here. Remember our hierarchy. You know this sentence is the phrase type. Only sentence and free translation on the same level, right? Only word and syllable and gloss are on the same level, right? No, only word and gloss on the same level. Sorry. Then sound, tone, and you get. So but you could also annotate from here. So for example, let's do this. I'm going to be typing online using. She doesn't have IPA keyboard. So I would have just typed that directly. But downloading that now is some hassle. So I'll just phonetic symbols actually. Yeah, but here now we can use. Let's just deal with orthography for now. Yeah. So okay, I'm coming. Keyman. I mean, this guy has his own shortcuts. So yeah. So Bola. Let's just do. Um, what's the I tone? Okay, I've done that. Bola.
Okay, is he using your computer?
Yes.
We're enjoying your.
So this is
I want to be like when I'm doing.
J. What is low tone? Go green me. Okay, Mombo Genta President.
Nah, but that's of him. So we are in Moleka. What is this in Yoga? Is that going to be?
All right. Now, you see that we have the annotation already, right? Here too, we can do the same thing. So I just double tap this. I click. So if you have Keyman for now, you can just type regularly. You can download Keyman keyboard and work with it later.
Should we apply this?
Huh?
God, yours, if you apply it, the transcription mode settings.
Let me see. No, I left it already. I ignored it.
It's on. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So this is Keyman Web Online. Let me just search for IP. You have the rival. All right. So yep, we're good. So I've typed Bolaje back here. Now the syllable. Okay, are we together? Now there's something we call tokenized tiers. Tokenized tiers. Now the tokenized tier function is to split the morpheme thing, for example, is when you can use some parameters to split word. I mean, a tier into different. I mean, split it into its components. So if you come to tier, this word tier, you see tokenized tier. Okay. Source tier, where are we tokenizing from? We are tokenizing from word to syllable. Okay. Um, Custom. Now, you see this token delimiter, right? Hmm? Character. Token delimiter, right? Let's tokenize from word to okay, let's do to syllable, okay? Custom, each character. Okay. So let's start, let's see how it works. Mm, Now, this is it. Because there are no, for example, if in that bola, for example, there was bola and then another word. Let me give an instance. Okay. Let me save. Sorry. Now let me say bola. Okay. Are you seeing this? This is what I just did. So let me put something here. Okay. Are you seeing what I'm doing? Now, if you come to tokenized here, okay, I'm tokenizing from word to syllable, right? You can erase everything. Now, see something. See that it has splitted everything to different. Are you seeing this?
Yes, to different syllables.
Yeah, not different syllables actually, different tokens. Because it's using the space character as the token, as the delimiter. That's okay. How do I differentiate between this and this? Okay. Okay. Now, one manipulation I can do is this. Let me undo tokenized there. So this is what I will do normally, Mombo. This is what I will do. Just for the sake of tokenization, okay? For the sake of tokenization. So so that wait, so that so this is it. I'm not so what I'm doing now is instead of creating a custom delimiter, I'm adding space between each of the words, each of the letters. Okay. But I want to tokenize from word to syllable, right? So I will identify the syllable in the word domain. But so bo, I'll put space after bo. Wait, see what I'm doing? You see eba, right? So I'll put a space after e. Wait, chilo. Calm down before you go to tokenize. Do you see what I just did? Do you see what I just did? How many of you saw what I just did?
Yes, I saw it.
Bo, bo space, right? Then I'll come to tokenize tier. Okay? Tier, tokenize tier. Okay? From word to syllable.
Bola Jeba. Don't know how
Oh,
to write it.
you are back to we are back to annotation mode already. Ah, ó ti jìnnà gan o. Oh, òun la fi ń record empty. Ah, ọmọ you are far from us. You are far.
There's a recording.
Just go and sit down. What are you saying? Am I not the with the recording?
No, he's saying that I'm recording this. So you can get the video recording and watch. Like I'm saying that you are far from what we are doing right now. So you know what we are going to do. Latch on to somebody who is presently here. When we are done, we can sort you out. So that won't take much time.
I know what is present already.
Ah, okay. Ah. So the point is, this tokenized. And I was asking people, we could not say anything. Okay. Okay, so this is it.
Word. Okay. Word. Word. Source of all good things.
Almost 80 gene.
Ooh, yes, from
80
this
gene
place.
àti
That I'm
pẹ́.
supposed to delete that word DG.
80 gene àti pẹ́.
Yes, I forgot to delete it.
Una
Thank you, sir.
don sọnù.
Thank you, sir.
But wait, chill. Hope you are getting what I've been doing, sha. Eh?
Get the explanation, get the practical. What does it mean? Explanation. For word.
Even this your tier is not supposed to be part of type. Tokenization is simply saying, give me word token. I mean, convert these words to tokens. FT cannot be word.
FT. Do you want to say
I'm coming. Free translation is FT. Free translation is FT. Change. Yeah, so gbogbo bíbá ìlú ti even syllable word. The reason why I'm doing all those roundabouts is so that I don't put extra tiers. I mean extra tier types. So I had to use the new one to correct the old one. Yeah. All right.
please let's do it, sir. We are almost
Can I? You said? Story time. Okay. I'll sort that out. Okay, but at least you are closer to where you are closer to where I am. All right. So, all right, guys. So, hello. All right. Let's do the tokenized here now. So, like I explained about tokenize. Tokenize is basically saying split the elements in this tier into their different constituents, depending on what factors I give. So I come to tokenize tier from where? From word to syllable. And I'm saying that now token delimiter is how do I recognize the what separates each token? If probably I'm dealing with a sentence and what separates the token is space. Default is space character. But probably what I use to separate the sentence is a dot. That's when I come to custom and I press. Okay. I could also add punctuation tokens. Maybe there's full stop, there's question mark, okay? There's whatever it is, but we are not dealing with that. Yeah. Those are tokens that are punctuation marks. I believe so. I might be wrong, right? So now once I start, you see now in syllable we have bo, la, j. Okay, I made a mistake. I wasn't supposed to do this. Or j. Yeah. So let me undo this. Yeah. Let me clear this. Ekbele. So let me do. So I've done the tokenization now.
wọ́n tó dé wọ́n tó fẹ́ mu tí. ọmọ mi lọ́dọ̀ ẹ̀ kí n fún mi kéèkì tí mo jẹ ní o.
sanwó ajọ́lẹ̀ ni.
olóògùn ara rẹ̀ bóyá sọ̀rọ̀ yẹn.
All right.
ọ̀lẹ́ ni mí.
All right. So now, because syllable and tone carry the same value, I'm going to copy the things on the syllable tier to the tone tier. I'll come to tier, copy. You see, copy annotations from tier to tier. Okay. Use currently open file. Okay. I'm copying from syllable. Okay. Next to tone. So I'm selecting tone. Next, all annotations. Finish. Shikena. So I can now edit this to the tone value. I I made
They have to be capital letter.
because they are the conventions for tone marks. All right. Now, one more thing I want to do: the sound. Okay. So I want Elan to automatically also help me create the sound level. All right. Do you know what I will do? This is what I will just do. Now, see the cheat I'm using now. This is the cheat I want to use. And now come to tokenize tier again. Tokenize syllable to sound. Start.
cancel ẹ̀.
I just go and edit that.
Mo ti ṣetán already, eh? So I can now come and edit the
The spaces.
yeah.
Who are interesting.
All right. So with this now, I can come and put my IPA symbol here. So let me type this. So this is where I'm gonna have this. All right. Then I will need this to be moved also.
mo ti rí iṣẹ́ o. ẹ padà rí mo rí o àdìkan tó lè lẹ. mo ní bá kó mú. mo lè padà rí. mo lọ ní kan ní blọọkì rẹ. ó mo máa ń sọ ìgbà. iṣẹ́ òun náà kí mo lọ wọn blọọkì.
Now I see that all our tiers are complete. Have you? Gloss. Now I see that I did like double tap that gloss because gloss is linked to Bola. It automatically has the same width as Bola. So I just use let me come and copy Bola here. So if I come here to it, I could do maybe for whoever is seeing this, okay? Non-future tense actually. Yeah. Eba. So with them, I want to gloss about cassava meal. God is watching you. All right. So this is our gloss. Right? Free translation. Bakam, bakam, the same length as that normal sentence. So that will be Bola. I'm coming. Yes, actually. So this is how they now train machines to do auto annotations. But what they now do is they give humans to now evaluate. But it's not everything that they can annotate still. So that's why the human still has to work with it. So
Well, just like what you said, you see, you do a bit of this, then you use this to train computer. Then you now ask computer to do it by itself.
yeah,
Then human will do evaluation.
yeah.
And after you do evaluation, you train the
You
computer
train it again to keep.
to errors. Yes, to improve its performance. You get evaluation.
Yeah, yeah. So now this is Elan. So now let me now show you something interesting. I can export all of this. Export as what are you seeing here? There's something. Can you see this?
What's that? Export in Praat and ELAN.
So now let me export this as a practice. Every tier, okay? I'm exporting everything. Now I see something. You tell me where do I want to export it, and I'll tell it. Okay, please. This PC. Okay. I beg. Woo. Okay, so download annotation. Bola Jeba. Let me just add an extra. Save as practice, right? Now I can do another interesting thing. X file. See something.
What's that? Export.
The one on top of what I'm selecting.
S something.
No, no, the one on top.
End of words.
List of words.
Of words.
So maybe I want the words. I want to choose the words based on all the tiers in the. I mean, from the word tier. Okay, word. So I choose. Okay. I mean, I could even pick it from the sentence and I just say, okay, use this as the character delimiter. This is how you know that these are words. I mean, let me select everything. Self. Now I'm coming. Okay. Sorry, I'm supposed to check. Count occurrences. I'm saying, let me know how many times this word showed in this data. Okay. Include overall totals, that's the overall number. Include frequency percentage. Export. Okay, simple. Bolajeba.txt. TXT file. How many file? This is just a report. There are 27 annotations, 18 unique words, 31 total words. Now, yeah, because it counted, I selected all the tiers. So, and after any character that has a space after it is a word to it. So, if you look at this PFX and this O1 at the back of five. Now, let's see the words. Bo, one. This is frequency percentage. Bola, four times. H, twice. Low, two times. So even if you now decide to do the tones, how many times do you see high tone in this data? Low, mid, one. A as a sound, twice. Et, that's the English. One. Yeah, I was going to talk about Antconk. I mean, so Antconk is so you could export from here to Antconk, have a TXT file. Antconk does a lot of more interesting things, and Elan also is very cool. So you see,
You guys are lucky. So you know how to operate that phone. You know how to operate
Elan,
You know how to operate Elan.
and you still learn about Flex.
You are becoming a billionaire, you know.
If to say if to if it was that I was taught all these things, See, all this I'm teaching you, I was taught, but outside class. Maybe it's when I met Dr. Jafet Ajani doing his own work. I sit down and learn. Dr. Meka was okay, man. I want you to annotate for me. So this is how you do this, do this. So once he shows me do this, he gives me the laptop. Go and do it. That's how I from there I move. Flex, I taught myself. Pratt, after the glory started in class, I went online that same night. Went to go and download math. I said, Flex tutorials. Next day, came back to class. I started teaching my classmates. So a lot of these things. So I'm basically,
FLEX. Flex.
yeah, Fieldworks Language Explorer. That's for language documentation, lexicography, and all those things. And it's a beautiful software.
Yeah, Flex is also used to develop
Corpus.
corpus, and you can also build a dictionary within Flex.
All right. So two more things I will show you.
Just a minute,
Yes,
I
sir.
supervised an undergraduate project. They needed use Flex to develop a dictionary. The dictionary is also morphologically compliant.
Yeah.
And it will tell you the morphological
Structure.
structure of the word, besides other features.
Yeah. I mean, language analysis is fun. I mean, yes. All right. I mean, those who are outside the field will know why we found it fun. Because we are the ones. No, you start talking. I mean, I was at ALS and then we were just talking about things, and then 2 good weeks of talking with linguists about languages. It was fun. You come back and then people are talking other things, and I'm like, I beg, that kind of thing. All right. So now, I exported our ELAN file as a practice grade. So how does it work? Open. Let's read from file. Yes, sir. All right, sir. So this is the file I exported. The EBA with two A's. Open. So I opened this text grid file with the sound file because it's same for sound file basically. View and edit. Voila. But now all the hierarchies are lost here. There's no hierarchy here
Because there is no hierarchy feature on Pratt.
in Pratt. But because the reason why we're able to get this is because ELAN uses the time alignment. There are some tiers that are linked to time. Okay? So it maintains them in Pratt. Are we good? Now, one last thing. Let me show you how I can import file. Import. Now, let me save this. Okay. I've saved it. Import Pratt text grid. I browse it. La, 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 la. This is my story. Next. So he's now asking me to link the remember what I said about the tier names, that there must be something must type name stereotype. So I'll just finish. No tiers detected.
That's right.
So I can't import it that way because the tiers in Pratt are not corresponding with the tiers in ELAN. I get it. But it's easier to export from ELAN. In fact, I did one thing one time like that. I had a Latin. Yeah, it was my corpus. So I was working in, and then I wanted to, okay, what tone is in this part? Because Pratt cannot show me, ELAN can show me spectrogram. ELAN can show me spectrogram. Okay? ELAN can show me spectrogram. ELAN can show me spectrogram, but it can't show me all the pitch and all those things. All right. So what I did was just a minute. I select a portion, okay, and I select this sound wave, open selection in Pratt. It will ask me where Pratt is, number one. So I go and locate Pratt for it. Because it doesn't know, because Pratt is not an installed software on the system. It's within a place. So I have to go and tell it that, okay, this is where it is. If it was a software, it would have just popped. It would have found, checked the PC for it. I don't know why it's not. Oh, they. Okay. Yep. Start key, man. Okay. Let me do it again. La 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 la. I don't know why. I mean, you would have, assuming you located Pratt, I would have shown you how it opens. But I think you get the logic basically, right? So, any questions before I wrap up this evening?
There will be a lot of questions, but it will not be because we have to watch the video
All right.
by ourselves. And okay, never mind. I wanted to ask
How to install
you have to install this
Keyman.
schema, yes.
It's very easy. Just download the software
I can
and double click and it will install by saying go to keyman.org, keyman.com,
okay now
and
no
it will
wahala.
install it. Thank you very much. God bless you. All right, thank you for coming around. Inner class, you too.
In class one will come with our questions. We understood the parts. Yes, but very see well. In some points,
Yeah, I mean,
up to this level, we're picking up up to the level.
until we enter the software bar.
Stereotypes.
Yeah,
I think
so
we
the
learned that.
stereotype thing is a bit nasty because even for me, it took a while for me to get the stereotypes. That's stereotypical. The stereotype is stereotypical.
Exactly. That's the word.
All right, I'm stopping the recording now. Thank you very much, guys, for the privilege. Have a great evening.